Hey guys, Kevin here, and in this video I just kind of want to make you guys aware. If you're an older adult or you're a senior, I want you guys to think about self-defense. Because not only do I believe that everybody, whether you're a child, adult, young adult, older adult, senior, I believe everybody should have the basic abilities and skills to be able to defend themselves in a self-defense situation on the street. With that being said though, I'm not talking about traditional martial arts. Traditional martial arts training, even if it's for sport, will not prepare you adequately for self-defense. Self-defense and traditional martial arts are two different things. You can train self-defense techniques in traditional martial arts. You can learn all these locks and defenses against this and that, but the way that they're trained is not practical. I've taught traditional martial arts and practiced traditional martial arts for over 35 years. And when you're doing one-step sparring where somebody's throwing a punch and then just standing there frozen so that you can go through your defense, it's not going to work on the street. Even if you are in an art such as Hapkido, Aikido, where you're working with another person and you are going through defenses and you're doing throws or joint locks, there's a level of cooperation there from the attacker that they allow you to do the technique. Now you're supposed to slowly add more resistance and resist as you go on, but even in those situations you can only resist so much before somebody gets hurt. That's where the issue comes with training self-defense, no matter what the system, no matter what the art. Because whether you're working with somebody or whether you're not, if you're working with somebody, you cannot train realistically because people will get hurt. You will hurt each other and then you won't have a training partner. And while there are defenses, there are techniques that you need to train with a partner, you can learn effective self-defense techniques and learn them and develop them on your own at home. And it's funny because up until this point, martial artists, martial arts schools, self-defense gurus have said that you can not learn online, through video, through books, and you're only learning enough to get yourself killed. However, with this pandemic and with their schools being closed, many schools are doing virtual training, teaching their students by video, online. Now all of a sudden it's an effective way to learn. Go figure. It's only effective when they need it to be effective so that they can pay their bills and make money. But if you're training on your own and you're trying to pick up skills for you to learn and be able to practice and training to defend yourself, you're wasting your time. Double standard. But that's not the point of this video. If you are an older adult, you have to realize that these threats are out there, and I'm not saying be paranoid. Number one, you have to have self-awareness. Are you willing to defend yourself? Are you willing to train and develop the skills to defend yourself? If you are, what are you willing to do to another person to ensure that you go home and survive that attack on the street or that situation on the street so that you can go home to your loved ones? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to gouge somebody in the eyes, strike them in the throat, strike them in the groin, clap their ear and break an eardrum? Are you willing to do those things? You don't want to sit there and trade blows with somebody on the street. Your job is to end the situation as quickly, aggressively, and as efficiently as possible and get out of there and go home. And a lot of people do not like violence. They do not condone violence. They don't want to hurt another human being. But when you're dealing with people today, this is not the United States that we grew up in. I was born in '66. Grew up in the 70s and 80s. This is not the same country I grew up in. We have younger people out there that have no respect for any authority, any adult, any senior, not even their own parents. They don't care how old you are. They don't care if you go home. They don't care if they take your life. Your well-being is the least of their concerns. They either want what you have or nowadays, you may just not agree with what they're saying, and all of a sudden you're getting beat on. This is not the same world we live in. You need to seriously think about developing self-defense skills that you can use if you find yourself in that situation. And yes, you can learn at home, because you don't need a whole arsenal of techniques to be able to defend yourself. You need a handful of techniques suited to you, that work for you, that you can develop and own and use effectively if that situation arises. That's the focus of my training now. I don't train traditional martial arts anymore. I may do forms as part of my fitness or stuff like that, but my focus in my martial arts training is developing the skills I need to defend myself on the street. Developing speed, power, and effectiveness at close ranges, because that's where most of the hand-to-hand stuff happens. Many of us have knee issues, back issues, hip issues. We just are out of shape, maybe overweight, and we cannot run. We sure as heck can't run fast enough to outrun our younger attacker. So we're left having to defend ourselves and ending the situation. This also leads me to bring up carrying a weapon, whether it is pepper spray or mace, whether it is a knife such as this, or a pocket knife. You should think about carrying a weapon to dramatically kind of even the odds and increase your chances of going home. Now, you also have to know what your local laws are. Here in Florida, you can carry a knife if it's open, if it's on your belt and it's seen. But to have it in your pocket or anywhere else where it's concealed and nobody sees it, you must have a concealed carry permit, just like if you have a gun. So you have to know the laws. You also have to know if you'd be willing to use this thing on somebody. And even if you think you are, you have to practice with it. Whether it's a knife, whether it's a cane, whether it's a baton, and especially if it's a firearm. For self-defense, I carry a firearm, I carry a knife. Like I said, I'm not standing and striking and going and trading blows with somebody on the street. If the situation warrants it and my life is in danger, I have a handgun. I have a knife to take care of that situation. But again, this does no good if you don't practice with it, if you don't learn proper safety, proper firing techniques, and go to a range and actually use it. So many people now, gun sales are through the roof, and I'll guarantee most people are just buying the gun, buying the bullets, putting them in there, sticking it in their purse, or sticking it away somewhere and thinking it's as easy as pulling the trigger. Point and shoot. It's not. It's not. And in the first time you go, if you've never fired a gun in your life, first time you go to the range, you'll find out that it's not just point and shoot. You might be able to hit the paper, but you're not going to hit what you're aiming at. So you have to be able to use these things. You have to be proficient. It's about awareness. It's about being self-aware and aware of your surroundings. It's avoidance, avoiding situations, avoiding things because you see them ahead of time to keep yourself safe. But it's also training and practicing for those times that you're caught unawares. While you're out in public, if something escalates that is out of your control, you have to be able to defend yourself. And you got to be able to know how to do it effectively. So this is not a training video, but I want you guys to be aware that self-defense training should be part of your fitness routine, should be something that you are looking at developing. Whether you want to develop hand-to-hand stuff or whether you just want to rely on a handgun or a knife, whatever your weapon is. If you don't want to develop hand-to-hand self-defense techniques and you'd rather carry a weapon, that's fine. But I strongly encourage you to train with that weapon. Learn how to use it and use it effectively. Not just think that you can buy it, walk around with it, and be able to use it. Because you can buy a gun, you can learn how to shoot it, but if you're not willing to pointing it at a paper target and pointing it at a breathing human being are two different things. You've got to know if you're willing to do that. You could potentially take somebody's life You have to know what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. These are things I want you guys to think about. I want you guys to consider. Some people might not think that self-defense techniques and learning to defend yourself is necessary at all. I disagree. All you have to do is watch the news. Look at what's going on around the country and in other parts of the world. In my opinion, you must know how to defend yourself. You must develop some skills. No skill is going to guarantee that you survive and that you go home at the end of the day. But they definitely dramatically improve your chances of survival and going home at the end of the day and having your attacker either go to jail or go to the hospital. I want you guys to think about it. Let me know in the comments below. Do you train for self-defense? Is self-defense an issue? Do you even give a crap about self-defense? Because, you know, you can't rely on the police. You can't rely on the government or law enforcement. They come after the fact. If you're lucky enough to call 911 when something first starts happening, chances are it'll happen before they even get there. Police deal after the fact. They come afterwards, decide what happened, write up the reports, blah, blah, blah. They are not there ahead of time to protect you before something happens. You can't rely on that. So let me know. Let me know down below. Put them in the comments and, you know, let me know what you think about self-defense as an older adult. Do you need it? If you do train, what do you train? Let me know. What do you rely on for self-defense? What weapons do you use? Do you need a concealed carry in your state? Let me know. I'd really be interested in knowing, because we didn't have to worry about all the stuff that goes on today. It's not in our mindset to even think about it because we never had to deal with it. But I fear for my grandchildren, because all this crap's going on now. What's it going to be when they're our age? You know, who knows? So let me know. If you enjoyed this video or any of the videos on this channel, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe and be sure to hit the notification button so that you're notified every time new videos come out. Going forward, you'll see more videos on my personal self-defense training. We'll talk about self-defense. I'll also be sharing my online journey. I'm trying to build income online and really truly creating an active and abundant life going forward in our 50s, taking back control of our life and getting healthy, getting fit, and having the freedom to live the life that we truly deserve. That's what this channel is about. That's my journey, and I hope you join me on this journey. So go ahead, leave your comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.